How's it going, YouTube? This is Skul, and welcome to today's video where I will be discussing everything we know so far about Splatoon 3. The game is still over a year away. It's coming out in 2022, and pretty much all we know about it is the little bit of information that we could see in the trailer and what Nintendo has posted on social media. But it's still quite a bit, in fact, more than I was expecting to cover, so sit back, relax, hit the like button, and let's get started. So, the very first thing we should know about Splatoon 3 is that it is going to be a Switch exclusive. That means you will not be able to play it on your Wii U, or on your PS5, or on your 5th gen iPod Nano or whatever, okay? The only way to play Splatoon 3 will be on the Nintendo Switch, exactly the same as with Splatoon 2. Pretty sure that was obvious to everyone, but just in case it wasn't, there you go. Also, like I said, it will be released in 2022. Now, that doesn't mean that the release date is set in stone yet, especially since we're still in the middle of the pandemic. It's completely possible that the release date will be delayed. It could be pushed back to 2023, but I think it's safe to say that 2022 is a surefire thing at this point. Okay, now about the game itself, the stuff that happens in the game. First of all, as has been talked about quite a bit by this point, unlike previous games where you first have to pick the gender of your Inkling or Octoling, here you don't pick that. Instead, you pick a style. The game asks what your style is without asking if you're an Inkling or an Octoling or if you're a boy or a girl. Now, a lot of these styles do look more like a boy than a girl, or more like a girl than a boy, and some of them look like Octolings instead of Inklings, but it's nice to see that the game is just giving you the options without asking you to specify, which I think is pretty cool. I know Animal Crossing did something similar to this last year, and it received a lot of praise for it, so it's nice to see that the Nintendo team responsible for that game has decided to pull it over to this game as well. Next, the Little Buddy. That is a Salmonoid, which up until now have been the enemies of the Inklings in Inkopolis. In fact, there was the whole Salmon Run thing that happened in Splatoon 2, so it's kind of cool to see a Salmonoid as your, I guess, pet. It's not exactly clear what the Little Buddy's purpose is. As far as I could tell, he's not a part of the gameplay itself for online multiplayer. He might just be a part of the story. Who knows? You know, it's always nice to see little buddies like this, little sidekicks in games. I mean, there's plenty of examples that I could think of at the moment, but you know what? Just the fact that there's a little buddy here and that he's not your enemy, and that you can customize him as well, I think that's great. Next, the game takes place in a city of chaos. That is the name of the place that this takes place in. This is away from Inkopolis. This is away from everywhere that you've known up until now within the Splatoon universe. Now, a lot of people have been speculating that this might be the result of the final Splatfest in Splatoon 2, where Team Chaos won, but we don't know that for certain yet. We do know that it is called the City of Chaos, and we do know that this takes place after Splatoon 2, and in fact, as you can see here, that is the Eiffel Tower that is, well, buried in the sand upside down, just, you know, the opposite of what you would expect in Splatoon 2, where you could see it standing up straight and tall. So, this might have had something to do with the final Splatfest, but right now we don't know for sure. All we know is that it is the City of Chaos, and specifically, the name of the place is Splatsville. Like I said, it's a completely separate place from Inkopolis, which is where the previous two games took place. And, well, we don't know anything about Splatsville yet, except what you could see here in the trailer. This is just what it looks like from this quick camera pan. That's all we know so far, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about Splatsville. It's kind of cool to know that there are other cities in the Splatoon world, and, yeah, Splatsville should be pretty interesting when we finally get to explore it ourselves next year. I mentioned customization earlier, and there's a lot of hairstyles, outfits, eye colors, all that stuff. That'll be brand new to Splatoon 3, and rather than go into detail for all of that, I'm just going to refer you guys to my friend Viantastic's video. He's already gone way more in-depth into that than I ever thought was possible, so definitely go check that out. A link to that video is in the description. There will also be new weapons in the game, including a bow and arrow weapon. Yeah, this is going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how exactly it works. And I'm sure that there will be other weapon types as well. We'll just have to see what they look like and how they perform between now and when the game comes out. Speaking of weapons, there is the strong probability that specials from the previous two games will be returning. As you might recall, Splatoon 2 had none of the specials that were in Splatoon 1, so it's kind of interesting to see an Inkzooka in the trailer, but it does look a little bit different than it did in Splatoon 1, so it's possible that this is not the Inkzooka, but it sure looks like it to most of us, so we're just going to assume for now that it is the Inkzooka. Which means there is at least one returning special from the first game that Splatoon 2 did not have, so it'll be interesting to see what other specials come back from the first game and from the second game. The last thing that we absolutely know about Splatoon 3, this spawn animation is awesome. Anyway, that does it for now. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. If there was anything that I missed, please be sure to let me know in the comments section. Man, it's so exciting to think that Splatoon 3 is only a year away. I'm looking forward to playing it, and I hope you guys are too. Anyway, that does it for now. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for the support you've been giving my channel lately, and I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye!